Let us study silk, a natural fiber from animals. Silk is a very fine natural fiber. Silk fiber is made from two proteins, fibrin and sericin. Silk consists of 70 to 80% of fibrin and 20 to 30% of sericin. Silk fiber is produced as a filament by the caterpillar of a silk moth. The rearing of silkworms for obtaining silk is called sericulture. Sericulture means silk farming. Sericulture is a very old occupation in India. India produces a lot of silk on commercial scale. Before we discuss the process of obtaining silk, it is necessary to know the interesting life history of the silk moth. Silk moth is a kind of insect which resembles a butterfly. Butterflies have slender antennae with lobes at the free ends. Moths have feathery or hairy antennae. A female moth lays thousands of eggs on green leaves of mulberry tree. The moth begins its life as a fertilized egg which is hatched and a larva or a caterpillar worm comes out of the egg. A caterpillar is the silkworm. It bears two silk glands along the sides of the head of its body. The caterpillar or the silkworm goes without food for some time and then starts exuding. Exuding means pushing out or discharge liquid silk from the glands into the air. The liquid silk dries immediately, forming a long, thin and hard filament of silk. This way, a silkworm forms nearly 1,000 meters of silk filament. While exuding silk, the worm moves its head from side to side and the silk thread is woven around the body of the worm. This covering is called a cocoon in which the animal sleeps. The silky covering spun by the silkworm of silk moth is called cocoon. Okay. The cocoon is made by silkworm to protect its development as pupa. Pupa is a stage in the life history of silk moth when the caterpillar or the silkworm becomes encased in a hard shell of silk fibers called cocoon. That is, cocoon with the worm inside is called pupa stage. The silkworm continues to develop in the form of pupa inside the cocoon to form the silk moth. So, there are 4 stages in the life cycle of a moth, that are eggs, larvae or caterpillars, pupa and adult moth. Okay, children? Can you imagine that the soft silk yarn is as strong as a comparable thread of steel? Silk is the strongest natural fiber. The soft looking silk yarn is as strong as thread of steel. In order to produce silk, the silkworm developing inside the cocoon is not allowed to mature into an adult silk moth. So, as soon as the cocoon is formed, it is used to obtain silk fibers and the developing silkworm gets killed. This is because if the silkworm is allowed to mature into a silk moth, then the fully formed silk moth secretes a liquid to dissolve a part of the silk of the cocoon to break it so as to come out of it and fly away. This breaking of cocoon causes damage to its silk threads and hence lowers the quality of silk. This is why the cocoons having developing silkworms inside them are used to obtain silk.